So this is a tutorial that introduces us to the basics of video editing, and the app that we are going to be using for this particular project is Adobe Premiere Pro. I am using the 2022 crack version, but then you can always get the 2026 updated one, paid version. With the 2022 you get the regular features that you can use to edit a video, but then to have more pro features you might want to invest in the original one. So one of the most important thing that I do when I'm editing videos is for me to group my files. So here you can see I have my audios, my other media, and then my videos. So for the audios, it has to do with the audio from the microphone. If you record your audio separately, you group it here. So I have labeled it under mic. And then if you have any other sound effects, that's the background music, sound effect, any type of sound effect that you'll be using in your project, this is where you're going to put them so that it's easier for you to find and then link your files. Okay, so here we also have the videos. So for the videos, depending on the number of cameras that you're using for this particular project, we use just 2 cameras. So cam one usually for the main camera, and then cam 2 for the extra camera, that's the close-ups or the side of, yeah, that's what the other camera was, the side, and it was a close-up. So if you're using 5 cameras, you have to create 5 folders and then put the different files that you took for each camera in each folder, so that it's easier for you to find and then sync them in the project. Okay, so that's all for that. And other media usually includes pictures, graphics that you want to add to the project. So that's about that. Always try as much as possible to group your files so that it's easier for you to find. Okay, so now that the application has loaded successfully, let's go here with the mouse, Adobe Premiere Pro. Right, so if you're using Adobe Premiere Pro for the very first time, usually this side of your space or your interface is going to be blank because you've not worked on any project, right? But then if you are trying to work on a new project, what you do is that you open new project. Okay, if you have other projects that you can just come here and then open projects, but this is a new project that you're going to work on. So you click on that, and then this pops up. Okay, so what you're going to do here is that you are going to title your project, and also you are going to give a location to the project, right? So for instance, you are going to label this, for the sake of this video, you're going to label the project Mr. Tuntum. And then we are going to, if you decide to change the location of your project file, you go to browse, and then you can decide to change it. But the way the software works, most of the time your videos, everything is already going to be saved in the software's project file. Okay, but then if you want to change it, for instance, this is going to be found under document, then you go to Adobe, like those things. But then if you want to change it, probably you don't have a lot of space on the PC that you're working with, so probably you want to store what you have, the project and everything, on an external. Okay, so that even if you are trying to, how do you say it, edit the video on another device, you have your raw files, you have your project and everything on external. So once the PC that you're going to work with has the software, I think it's also going to be easier for you to work on different species if you have your document and everything on an external drive. Do you understand? But we have a lot of space on this PC, so for the sake of this video, we're going to do everything on the PC. But that's just how to change the location of your files, right? So we're just going to leave it as it is, right? And then when you come here, you're going to work, the capture format of the video is high definition. So We're not going to touch any of these things, and most of these things have been already done for you, so you don't touch any of these things. All you do is just change the name of the project, the location of the project, and then you're good to go. So yeah, we have finally launched the application itself. And what you can see here is the interface. Now when you open the application, you can actually see the location of your file at the top, where the mouse icon is showing at the top here. So if you open the file and it's not the file that you're looking for, the project file, you're going to see that the name might be different. Okay, so that is it. So let's talk about the interface. So this is where your source clips, your effect controls, and those things are going to be, where I have highlighted with the blue line where the mouse is moving. And this side is where your projects are going to be. Okay, this side, the bottom left side. And then this is where you're going to see how the editing of the project is going. And this is where your media is going to be, where your cards, where your cards, your join, your add text. This is where the magic is going to happen. But this is where you're going to preview whatever you're doing here, right? And this is mostly where your editing options are also going to be. So if you have some color grading you want to do, it's going to happen here. If you have some graphic essentials that you want to do, it's going to happen here. But before that, because this is an editing video, if you come to the windows at the top here, you can see color. It was initially on color, but I'm going to change it to editing. It's not going to change the interface that much, but it's going to adjust to the editing that we are coming to do. So yeah, so basically is what we have now. So what you do is that before you start your project, before you start editing, you want to import your files here. So this is where you import your files. Now it says import media to start, but to be an organized editor, what you have to do is that just as we have sorted out or we have grouped our files, that's the same thing we are going to do here in Premiere Pro to help us have an organized project, right? So in Adobe Premiere Pro, instead of folders, we call it bins, B-I-N, bins. So we are going to put 3 different folders here, or 3 different bins here. So 1, then you click outside, then 2, you click outside. If you don't click outside, it will create another bin inside the bin, like a sub bin. So you click outside and then you click another one. Right, so you have 3 bins. So you're going to label them according to the type of files that we are going to be importing to make it organized. So you're going to rename them. So this is going to be your video files, and then this is going to be your audio files, and then this is going to be other media. So you right click for this option to show the rename option, so other media, and that is it. So under videos, depending on, so you have click the video. So if you come to this top here, right, you see that we are in the Mr. Tuntum project, but inside the folder that has the videos, so slash videos. So I want to create other 2 bins here to cater for the cameras. Okay, so if I have 2 cameras, I'm going to create 2 bins. If I have 5 cameras, I'm going to create 5 bins to make it easier. So 1, click outside, and then 2. So I'm going to label this cam 1 and then cam 2. Okay, and then you go back. So if you want to go back, this is where you click on, this is the back icon, and then it comes to the audio. So for the audio, you're going to create the same thing, 2 bins, go back, you label it mic. Or depending on how you have actually saved it in your Explorer or like in your folder. So here we have command come2, and then for the audios we have mic and then sound effects. So you go here, we've done mic, so this is going to be sound effects. Rename to sound effects, and then that is it. So we have this here. So if you should click here, we see Mr. Tuntum audio and then mic. So we are in the mics bin or the mics folder, right? So you go back, and then for other media, there are no, how do you call it, there are no extra bins within, so they are just this one. So how do you import your files? So now that you have grouped your files and made everything so organized, when you click on videos, you click on CAM1, you can just import your files. So how do you import it? First of all, you can just drag it. So go back to videos, CAM1. You can just drag it like this, just like any other software, and then put it right here. Okay, now CAM1 is here, so we have this file right in CAM1. Then you go back, open CAM2. Now let me show you another way to import your file. So what you can also do is that you can right click here. When you open the bin, right click the bin and then click on import. Okay, and then you go back, videos, and then CAM2. Now for the purposes of this video, just going to take two files in CAM2 and then highlight it like this and then open. Right, so we have this sorted. So I'm quickly going to import the rest of the files in their various folders, and that is it. So for the sound effects, everything is here, 4 files. You go back to other media, right? So when you're other media, you just click import, go back, other media, highlight on all your files and then open. Right, so you've imported all your files here. Okay, so let's go to the main project here. That is what we have. So now what we are going to do is that this is where the editing is going to take place, and this is where it's going to be previewed. Okay, so what you're going to do is that this side is not activated yet, so you can't drag anything here yet. So we are going to start a new sequence. That is how it is called, sequence. So if you have a project, every clip or every video that you're going to work on, you put them in sequence. So this is the first sequence that we have here. So what do? You go to, how do you get a new sequence? You can just do Control N to activate the sequence, or you can go to just files, new, and then sequence. So when you click on sequence, you are going to have this pop-up. Okay, now this pop-up just just wants to give you the opportunity to tell us the sequence or how you want the finished video, the format in which you want the finished video to be in, depending on the kind of project you're working with or where it's going to be displayed or your country. There are so many factors that you should consider. But since you are going to, the video was shot in 4K, we are going to adjust it to 4K, and that is it. There are also options where you can customize your sequence so that you know that, okay, if I'm working on this podcast, this is going to be my custom sequence settings. So this has to do with whether 4K, 30 frames per second, 24 frames per second, and so on. So this one, if you want a custom one, you just change everything and then you save as preset. But one, so the custom one I have here is for TikTok. That is the portrait mode. But then this video is going to be in a landscape. It's going to be displayed on like TV, mostly maybe YouTube and those other online platforms that have um the 16 by 9 format, right? So for this one, when do you decide to shoot in 4K, 24 frames per second, or 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second? So most of the time for sit down videos, 24 or 30 frames per second is okay, especially because there are no, like, the movements in the videos are not that much, and that is what most sit down videos or videos that do not require a lot of slow motion is best shot in. So for videos that have a lot of movements, like action movies, running, like slow motions and all of that, you'd want the frame per second of your video to be a bit um many. Let me quickly like break this down. So for example, if you say frames per second, it simply means that the number of frames that you have in a single second. Okay, like picture, snap 24 in a single second. So if you have a video that has 25 pictures in a single second, and you have a video that has 60 pictures in a single second, if you are to slow down the video that has 24 pictures in a second, you're going to have some lags and it's not going to be very smooth. But then if you have a video that has 60 frames per second or 60 pictures per second, if you have to slow it down within that second, you're going to get a very smooth look. So that is the principle or the basics behind the number of frames per second. So for sit down podcast, 30 is okay, but then for documentaries, slow motions, and action movies and all of those things, you need 60K. Sorry, 6K, 60 frames per second. Oh god, 60 frames per second. So you're gonna just choose 30. This one, and then yeah, you're going to label the sequence. How do you even label the sequence? Miss Thelma, because that was the lady hosting the podcast. So let's say Miss Thelma. And okay. So most of the time when you choose that, it will already like sync with the other side of the settings. For instance, this one, the settings 60, this is pro raw, we choose 60 frames per second, so it has already done the calculations here for us. If you had chosen 60 frames, it would have given us 60 frames here. Then this is the size of the, how do you call it, the file, the number of pixels in each horizontal or vertical, so that's the frame size, and the rest of them are just already done for you. So you might want to click maximum bit depth, also helps when it comes to the rendering and all of that. So you just have to highlight all of these things, but if you don't even do them here and you're going to export it at the end of the video, you can still do that here. Yeah, but this part of it also requires you to have a device that has really high capacity to do some of these things. Okay, so now our sequence area has been activated, and then we can go ahead and edit our videos. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to edit the videos. So this is how to set up or make sure your you are set for the editing. So this is just the beginning phases. It's very important to have this thing ready because it can make or break your entire, how do you call it, project. So this is the end of part one, how to set up your video editing, how to set it up, how to get it ready. So you've imported, you've grouped them, you've selected your sequence, your project settings, and everything is up to. So now you can start working. So I'll see you in the next video where I explain to you how to cut join, add text, and those things. So yeah, catch you in the next episode.